last year, we started a crowdfunding event, and I was up in Byron Bay with my partner Julie, who's there. We ended up Julie, and we went for a massage at this amazing place called Free Salon, and we were in the same room being massaged. And
sounds slightly dodgy. It's fine.
And the woman who was doing the massaging basically said, so what do you do? And I kind of lit up and said, well, kind of in the process of setting up a men's group, and then I explained a little bit more, and my passion possibly came out. And this woman said, I'm going to donate $1,000. And I went, oh, God, no, don't do that, you can't do that. And I could literally see my partner's nostrils flaring. Anyway, so I came out and I explained to this beautiful woman what the men's table was a bit more and how we were crowdfunding. We needed to get to $10,000. And I came out, and when I came out, this beautiful woman had donated so much money she took us over the limit to hit our 10,000. She has since then donated as well and has donated 3 times more than anybody else to our cause. This beautiful woman is Tracy Foster. Tracy can tell her story.
Wow. That is not a setup to help me not cry. Okay, so obviously I come from Ocker heritage because I can round some cows up, not a problem. I literally wondered if my parents loved me when everyone would have a car, but I was told to beat the cows to the great gate. And these were like Norwester cows that had never seen anything but helicopters. So I would be running to the gate, these cows would be literally charging at the cars, and I'm like, do you not want the only daughter among all the sons that you have? So I grew up in country Western Australia in Esperance, which is a very isolated town. And isolation comes with, Esperance is stunning, the beaches are incredible, you will never have seen a prettier town. But with that comes incredibly isolated ways to see the world and how it can be different. And I had a father that, I'm going to tell you stories if that's okay, because that's how I try and get messages across. My dad was like a god to me. This is a man who had drowned, he'd survived the fires, he held onto a tree during a cyclone. He got hit by a train with his truck as he crossed it and didn't see the train coming in the sunrise until it was too late. He gassed it to take the cattle out, but not him. This is a man who didn't follow rules, so luckily he picked up a hitchhiker. The relevances of that is he checked the cattle in the rain and he hit his head on the power lines, which led to him earthing onto the truck, losing 2.5 toes. The paramedic heard as he hit, went up, resuscitated my father, who was black and blue as a blister, and I've destroyed the sound. Lucky I'm loud. And so I had a dad that was like a god, like an absolute god. And it got to a point when he was 69, 70 years of age. And he was looking at the knees giving up. He was looking at not being able to get up and down that stock crate. His partner, my mum, who loved him to bits, had dealt with a man who was highly, highly emotionally and psychologically abusive. So we finally helped mum get away from dad, and I love my dad more than anything. And a year after passing, he had threatened to my mum that he would do and take his life, and he'd done that his whole life. And I talked to my dad, and I was like, Dad, I love you. I don't know what's going on for you. Can you please get some support? And there was nothing. We called the police. They said, we can't do anything. We called his doctor. He said, he can't do anything. And I talked to my dad, and he said, I decided to drink instead. But he organised the next day for one of my brothers to find him, hung from the shed, which was horrible. And I look at that and I've reflected on men's mental health for 20 years. And in October, my brother did the same thing on the anniversary of my dad. And I look at growing up in the country, and I look at Australia, and I can see how men don't have the support they need. They don't have that tribal way where you would have elders that would take men from boys to teenagers to fathers to husbands, to retired, to then the elders. And there's this massive gap. And I look at my brother Ian. He couldn't speak till he was 7. He got passed through high school not being able to read. He'd been homeless for 5 years before he killed himself. He had a really hard life, but he was incredibly courageous. So I can see, and my brother, so many men in my life. And my brother Brian was 16, left my hometown to go to the city to earn money to pay for the best psychologist to make him straight. Which obviously didn't happen because he finally came out at 33. And if you ever did a house deco or any shit like that, he's amazing. He got me complete sensory. I'm the one that goes stripes and spots, can't fucking go together like And I've also had a salon environment for a long time. I studied naturopathy, so I looked at one height, I forgot my brother, he's down the wine shop far too much and listens to way too much channel, he's spamming with Trump. I was like, you can stop it. And I had this salon, so I became a naturopath 20 years ago because I'm like, there's got to be something done. What can I possibly do to help men as a female? And I would have men come in the salon. I'm really lucky because I'm fluent in speaking bloke. I can literally pull the piss out of a man and make him feel loved at the same time so he can open up. Like, it's a skill that I'm incredibly proud of. It's kind of a skill that made me play footy with the blokes too much and only work out why their girlfriends hated me when all I did all lunchtime was beat the shit out of them and wrestle them. Plus some pros and cons on that. But I'll have men come in depressed. I'll have men come in with massive anxiety that haven't got an identity in the world today as they transition from work to not work. They'll come in with relationship breakups. They'll come in not knowing how to be emotionally available to the people they love and how to express that due to such huge amounts of fear. And so that leads to kind of me meeting Ben. So here I have is Ben and Julie, and by the way, I'm beating Julie up with an elbow, she's super tough. And we start this beautiful conversation about men and mental health. And Ben tells me some of his story. I get to share some of mine. At that point, it was only my dad, so it was not quite as fresh as it is now. And he was telling me the crowdfunding, you need money for lawyers. I'm like, fuck, sorry, anyone's a lawyer. And they needed a certain amount of money, and he came out, and I was like, you need to come and look at this. So I pointed at the screen, I'm like, now go do the fucking work, because I can't. In a small way, I can. And I think the ethos of the men's table is what we need. Because I come from Byron Bay, like seriously, the men talk about shit. They'll get a talking stick, like they're better at it than the rest of Australia. So I know there's a Mankind project, I know there's a Rites of Passage project, and those things have been surrounded with Byron. But I know the rest of Australia doesn't have a system or places that men can go, just be honest. And I think from a female perspective, I can see the cracks, and there's a part where we don't have elders that don't have intergenerational trauma. So the elders can't even negotiate what it is they're trying to deal with to help and support the younger men than themselves. So something like this, with doing the suicide counselling, with covering all the bases on a grassroots level, kind of excites me. And I'm super proud that men are fucking standing up, and I swear heaps because I'm from the country. That's actually right, I never swore. If you said fluff in my house, my mom would smack you in the back of the head. So I learned when I swear when I came to the East Coast, I'm blaming the Queenslanders all day.